Hello and welcome to Defense Dynamics. I am Danveer Singh, your host from New Delhi. Tonight in this episode of Defense Dynamics, we take a fast look at India's shifting defense picture. From the silent aftermath of Operation Sindoor and the rise of hybrid threats to DRDO's new AI-enabled underwater vehicles that are redefining the mine warfare. The Army boosts its armour with INVAR missiles for the T-90 fleets, while Indonesia moves closer to buying the BrahMos, marking another milestone in India's defense exports. And later in my take, the CDS throws a challenge to private industry, calling not just for capability but for patriotism, as India pushes for true Atmanirbharta. All this and much more, but global defense headlines first. The French Navy has inducted its upgraded AS-MPAR air-launched nuclear missile. A marine Rafale completed a successful evaluation firing without a nuclear payload. The missile is now operational with Navy's Nuclear Aeronaval Force after earlier service with Air and Space Force. Denmark has placed a major order for additional Carl Gustaf M4 recoilless rifles. The 10 million package includes ammunition and training gear for Army and the Home Guard. Deliveries will begin in late 2025 and run through 2028. Australia is upgrading its integrator drones with a domestically developed hyperspectral optical radar. The HSOR sensor from Arcus offers real-time wide area detection and classification across complex environments. Trials in the United States and Australia have shown detection ranges far more and beyond the current optical and radar systems. Integrated with AI-driven data fusion, the system enhances the Army's wide area surveillance under WAR's program. Ukraine is working with RTX and Lockheed Martin to help Patriot systems counter the upgraded Russian missiles. Russia has altered missile trajectories and maneuverability, reducing recent interception rates. NATO has abandoned its planned purchase of Boeing E-7 wedge-tail aircraft to replace its aging AWAC fleet. The Netherlands says the strategic and financial rationale behind the program has collapsed. The decision follows the United States Air Force's earlier withdrawal over cost and survivability concerns. Operation Sindoor, India's decisive 2025 counter-terror strike that dismantled major terror infrastructure across Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. A powerful message of deterrence was delivered with precision. But while the visible threat has reduced, a quieter, more dangerous enemy is taking shape. Tonight on Defense Dynamics, we look at the silent aftermath of Operation Sindoor. How Pakistan's ISI has shifted gears from infiltration to hybridization, embedding terror inside India's own social and professional networks. May 2025, Operation Sindoor blurred the lines between preemption and precision retaliation. The Indian strike dismantled terror hubs in Pakistan and the POK. A deterrent signal delivered without noise. But as the guns fell silent, the ISI began recalibrating its strategy, not by rebuilding camps, but by re-engineering terror itself. A shift from infiltration to infiltration of trust. The first signs appeared not in remote bunkers, but in Indian cities. In Faridabad, investigators seized 2,900 kilograms of explosive precursors, from two practicing doctors, Muzammil Shakil and Adil Ahmed Rathar. Ahmedabad revealed something even darker, a doctor allegedly conspiring to make resin, sourcing material from local markets, and communicating with networks linked to Pakistan and ISKP. These cases show a chilling new pattern. Radicalization, wearing a stethoscope, trust turned into a weapon.
The Red Fort blast investigation has taken a sharp turn after terrorist Umar's self-shot video surfaced, showing him calmly defending suicide bombing. Investigators say this points to a new breed of terrorists, individuals who are educated, eloquent, and psychologically prepared for violence. His composed monologue reflects deep ideological conditioning, far from any act of desperation.
Shielded by nuclear parity, Pakistan avoids over-escalation, but thrives in the space below the threshold. The ISI's old doctrine of 1,000 cuts is mutating into 1,000 shadows. Professionals, students, women trained remotely on encrypted platforms are becoming nodes of a silent, sub-conventional campaign. These are citizens embedded in daily life, camouflaged by legitimacy. The hybrid threat is not just human, it's financial and technological. Money is laundered through charities, converted into stable coins, broken into micro UPI transfers. The Gujarat model alone used digital research grants to disguise terror funding. At the border, drones fly low across Punjab and Rajasthan, not carrying narcotics but weapon components and encrypted devices. The enemy that does not march but drifts silently through the skies. The new terror template also targets time, not just space. Operations are aligned with national events, budget sessions, summits, major festivals, designed to create psychological tremors with minimal physical damage. A shift from mass casualty attacks to precision disruption.
The NIA has now revealed that the Delhi module initially planned Hamas-style rockets and drone attacks across capital's high-security zones. Investigators say the group was actively modifying drones to fire rocket-style explosives, a system engineered for mass casualties. Arrests made over the last 48 hours show the module was scouting multiple technical experts to bring this plan to life. With digital devices and procurement trials now in custody, officials say the timely intervention of India's security forces prevented a catastrophic drone-delivered terror strike on the capital.
A striking new element, women-led modules and family cells. Female doctors, lecturers, nurses acting as couriers and recruiters, shielded by social acceptability. Family-based micro cells ensure emotional loyalty and make intelligence penetration far harder. India's own success, digital payments, mobility, professional empowerment is being twisted into vulnerabilities. A UPI transfer can enable both a hospital bill and a terror transaction. Credentials meant for healing and service now double as access points for infiltration. When suspicion enters workplaces and homes, the threat becomes not military but social. Countering a hybrid threat needs hybrid solutions. India's agencies are now moving towards real-time data fusion, integrating financial intelligence, behavioral analytics, and digital surveillance. Regulations on precursor chemicals, drone operations, and digital ecosystems are tightening. AI-driven predictive models, the next frontier, will help identify anomalies before activation. Technology must be both shield and the sword. But the ultimate battleground is society itself. Hospitals, classrooms, financial systems, and homes. The challenge is to safeguard vigilance without eroding trust. This is where India's resilience outmatches Pakistan's reinvention. Operation Sindoor changed the battlefield. Now India must secure the mindscape. The enemy today doesn't cross mountains or rivers. It crosses boundaries of trust. ISI's shift from infiltration to indigenization is dangerous, but not undefeatable. India's strength has always been its social cohesion. Hybrid threats can only succeed in shadows, and those shadows disappear when institutions, citizens, and intelligence systems work together. Operation Sindoor proved India can strike with precision. Now the real test is protecting the country from within and ensuring that vigilance never turns into fear. India is making a big push beneath the surface and literally. The DRDO has unveiled a new generation of man-portable autonomous underwater vehicles. They are compact, AI-driven systems that can detect and classify naval mines with remarkable precision. It marks a major shift in how the Indian Navy can secure harbors, sea lanes, and littoral zones. That too with technology that fits in the hands of small teams but deliver capabilities that once required large ships and heavy equipment. So let's see what are the India's new undersea sentinels and how they are changing the game in mine warfare. Traditional mine countermeasure missions are slow, risky, and manpower heavy, often requiring large ships, divers, and complex manual systems. But DRDO's Naval Science and Technological Laboratory at Visakhapatnam has flipped that model on its head. India's new man-portable autonomous underwater vehicle or MP-AUVs are compact systems that small naval teams can deploy even from rigid inflatables or small coastal crafts, a major leap in mobility and safety. At the core of these AUVs is a technological triad: advanced sonar sensors, deep learning AI, and a resilient acoustic communication network. Together they enable the AUV to identify, analyze, and classify underwater threats without operators' intervention. Each unit carries side scan sonar and underwater electro-optical cameras, mapping the seabed with high resolution, revealing anomalies that may indicate naval mines. Once a suspicious object is detected, the onboard deep learning system gets to work. Using a trained data set, the AI compares shape, reflections, and materials, instantly categorizing the threat, thus less time, less risk, and more precision. But the innovation doesn't stop at autonomy. Multiple AUVs can now function as a networked swarm, talking to each other using underwater acoustic communication. It allows coordinated navigation, target confirmation, and rapid area coverage, the kind of collaboration that accelerates mine detection and boosts mission reliability. India joins the small club of nations with such underwater swarm capability. At NSTL's harbour facilities in Visakhapatnam, the MP-AUVs recently completed comprehensive field evaluations, validating endurance, underwater communication, and classification accuracy. The Ministry of Defence confirms the project is now moving to production, with several private manufacturers onboarded through DRDO's technology transfer ecosystem. This breakthrough is part of DRDO's large underwater systems ecosystem, now valued at over rupees 80,000 crore across 12 states. Indian industries are delivering indigenous components from underwater sensors and batteries to composite hulls and control electronics, a true Make in India lattice beneath the sea. DRDO Chairman Dr. Samir V. Kamath calls the MP-AUV a milestone, a platform built for intelligent low-risk and networked undersea operations. From harbour defence to mine detection and seabed survey, these AUVs promise to enhance Navy's readiness while reducing exposure to danger. India's silent warriors are getting smarter, smaller, and far more autonomous. Underwater warfare today is defined by who sees first and who sees more clearly. India's new MP-AUV program delivers exactly that advantage. Autonomy reduces risk, AI reduces time, and swarm capability expands reach. This is the future of mine warfare, machines that work together, think together, and secure the seas without putting sailors in the harm's way. As India strengthens its underwater industrial ecosystem, the Navy's undersea domain awareness moves into a new league, one defined by intelligence, mobility, and precision. And that's the real takeaway tonight. In a major boost to India's armoured core, the Ministry of Defence has signed Rs 2,095.70 crore contract with Bharat Dynamics Limited for procurement of INVAR anti-tank guided missiles. These are laser-guided missiles that can be fired directly from the gun barrel of T-90 tank. This gives India's frontline armour a decisive edge against heavily protected enemy vehicles. So what the INVAR missile brings to the battlefield and why this contract matters for Atmanirbharta as well as combat readiness, let's take a look. Ministry of Defence at South Block inked a major contract with Bharat Dynamics Limited worth Rs 2,095.70 crores. Procurement of INVAR anti-tank guided missiles. The agreement was signed in presence of Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh, marking another step in upgrading India's mechanized firepower. The INVAR missile is designed to be launched 125 mm gun barrel of the T-90 tank. The backbone of India's armoured regiments. A sophisticated laser-guided anti-tank system, the missile brings very high hit probability against stationary as well as moving targets. The missile known as INVAR 3UBK-20 can take down armoured vehicles equipped with explosive reactive armour, a key requirement in modern mechanized warfare. Its maximum range of 5 km. For armoured units, this means engaging enemy tanks beyond their effective firing range and striking with precision before the adversary even closes in. Mechanized operations demand speed, mobility, and accuracy. With INVAR, the T-90 platform becomes significantly more lethal, capable of hitting fortified armour while on the move. The system sharpens India's anti-armour punch, especially along hostile sectors where armoured clashes are a real possibility. The procurement falls under Buy India category, meaning the missile meets stringent indigenous content requirements that are 50% indigenization if designed and developed in India, or 60% indigenous content if not originally Indian designed. The Bharat Dynamics Limited manufactures the system under technical collaboration with Rosoborn Export of Russia, blending Indian production expertise with proven global technology. The ministry says the deal reflects government's continued push to meet Army's requirement by leveraging the capabilities of Indian defence PSUs, while encouraging niche technologies through domestic industry. With the INVAR project, Indian industry gains deeper expertise in advanced guidance, warhead technology, and missile integration, skills essential for future ATGM programs. For India's armoured corps, this contract is more than a replenishment. It's a qualitative upgrade, ensuring that frontline T-90 regiments remain equipped for high-intensity warfare across deserts, planes and high-altitude sectors. Firepower, precision and reliability all packed into a laser-guided missile fired directly from the tank's barrel. The T-90 is already a formidable platform, but a tank is only as lethal as the punch it delivers. The INVAR missile procurement strengthens India's armoured units at a time when modern battlefields demand range, accuracy and ability to defeat advanced armour. This deal is not just about missiles, it's about sustaining readiness, building indigenous capability and ensuring India's strike formations retain decisive superiority when it matters the most. India's most powerful defense export story may be getting its next big chapter. Indonesia has formally expressed interest in purchasing BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, one of India's most advanced and successful joint weapon system. Indian Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh confirmed this request recently at Lucknow. So let's take a look at how Indonesia became the latest Southeast Asian nation to seek BrahMos and what this means for India's defense export ecosystem. Indonesia has made an official bid to purchase the Indo-Russian BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, a step that could mark one of India's most significant defense export breakthroughs. India's Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh, speaking in Lucknow, confirmed that Indonesia has requested the missile system manufactured at BrahMos facility in Lucknow. According to defence officials, all discussions between New Delhi and Jakarta are complete. The agreement is ready but awaits the final nod from Russia, which co-develops BrahMos through NPO mine-countermeasure. Once cleared, Indonesia will become the second country after Philippines to procure BrahMos.
Operation Sindoor has triggered a global rush for BrahMos, with countries lining up like it's a Black Friday sale. Vietnam is close to a $700 million deal, while Indonesia has already secured a $450 million agreement. Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are all in the active negotiations.
The Philippines had signed a $375 million contract in year 2023 for 3 BrahMos coastal batteries, a deal that dramatically strengthened Manila's maritime defense posture. The Indonesian deal would reinforce a similar pattern. Countries across Southeast Asia are looking at BrahMos as credible deterrence tool amid rising regional tensions. Jointly developed by DRDO and Russia's NPO mine-countermeasure, BrahMos is one of the fastest supersonic cruise missiles in the world. With a range of over 290 kilometers and speeds reaching up to Mach 2.8, this missile can be launched from land, sea and air. Its precision strike capability and low earth flying profile makes it a formidable system for any coastal or maritime defense work. Indonesia's interest aligns with its wider military modernization program, especially as the country faces maritime security challenges near Natuna Islands and in the South China Sea's extended influence zone. Jakarta, joining the BRICS group in 2024, has also deepened its strategic ties with India. A BrahMos purchase would mark a powerful signal, strengthening defense cooperation with New Delhi while diversifying Indonesia's security partnerships. For India, a second BrahMos export deal would be a milestone, showcasing countries' ability to sell high-value cutting-edge weaponry to friendly nations. It reflects growing confidence in Indian defense manufacturing and reinforces the government's ambition to make India a global defense hub.
So now the question arises, why BrahMos grabbing global attention? The missile is trending worldwide for its Mach 3 supersonic speed and extreme precision. Its fire and forget guidance, stealth design and sea-skimming flight make it almost impossible to intercept. Capable of launching far from land, sea and submarines, it offers unmatched versatility. With high lethality, adaptive trajectories and combat-proven performances, it has become one of the world's most sought-after strike weapons.
If signed, the deal will not only provide Indonesia with a top-tier deterrent, but will also have ripples across the broader Indo-Pacific security architecture. With more Southeast Asian nations evaluating BrahMos, India's role as a stabilizer and security partner in the region continues to expand. BrahMos is not just a missile, it's India's calling card in the global defense marketplace. If Indonesia becomes the next BrahMos user, it will reinforce two realities. Firstly, India is now a credible supplier of high-end defense systems, and Southeast Asian nations increasingly see New Delhi as a strategic and a reliable partner. And secondly, the geopolitical message that it gives is clear. Indian technology is shaping deterrence equations in Indo-Pacific region. And that's the strategic significance of Indonesia's BrahMos bid. Recently, the Chief of Defence Staff of Indian Armed Forces made a very significant statement. He urged the private players to show a little patriotism that has stirred a debate. But at its core, the CDS is voicing a frontline reality. That is, India's defence preparedness cannot depend on foreign timelines, foreign guarantees or foreign priorities. When delays happen or commitments falter, it's the soldier, not the balance sheet, that pays the price. His remark is a call for alignment, that national security must stay at the center of India's defence ecosystem. So then the question arises, why private players are crucial. The private industry is no longer a peripheral actor. They design radars, build drones and manufacture electronics and are increasingly shaping India's most ambitious defense programs. They bring agility, innovation, scale and speed, qualities that large public sector structures cannot always provide. From exposed to advanced propulsion, from space to AI, India's defense modernization simply cannot advance without the private sector stepping in as a full and an equal partner. In the battlefield of future, technology is combat power and private industry is now a primary source of that power. So why this is not a criticism but a challenge? The Chief of Defence Staff's words should not be read as a rebuke but as a challenge with a purpose. Patriotism in defence is not about sloganeering. It's about urgency, reliability and willingness to prioritize national interests above the profit cycles. The military is saying, walk with us, match our pace, share our sense of mission. India doesn't need suppliers, it needs partners who see defense not as commodity business but as a strategic responsibility. And when private industry embraces that responsibility, India's next generation capabilities won't be imported. They will be proudly built at home. That's all for this week on Defense Dynamics. Do share your thoughts on social media with #GD with Danvi. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.